I am so pleased to have been invited to come to speak with you today about what we all must do, which is to restore our planet and to realign ourselves with our Mother Earth and the planetary constellations and all of the planets of the solar system. We are just one, a minuscule one in this great Milky Way. And even in our own solar system, we're just a tiny speck. But yet, in the last 500 years, and especially the last 100 years, those elite on Earth have managed to destroy what has been preserved by the Aboriginal and Indigenous people for the millennia and millennia and millennia. Now that they have just about taken us into Never Land as far as the Earth's pollution and all of the changes that are going down, it's time for us, the original people, the Aboriginals of this planet Earth, and we are all over the Earth. Don't let anybody fool you. We are 90% of the people on Earth. And it is time for us to take our place and restore our beautiful planet to its original, beautiful, clean, inviting, productive Earth to live on. We are seeing what we see, what is being called like the degradation of the Earth. We're hearing people say that, okay, we have, Earth changes. They say that the carbon footprint is too big, and we're destroying the air. The oceans are filthy. The land has been depleted. It's been poisoned. All of those things are true. But this has only happened in the last 100 years. Now, those who are responsible for that, and it is not the Aboriginal people, we have been subjugated. We, the Aboriginal people of the Earth, have been subjugated for the last 500 years. They say 400 years of slavery, right? But actually, since the invasion of North and South America by the conquistadors and the Spanish and Portuguese, and the destruction of the beautiful Aboriginal cultures of North and South America. Yes, North America had a beautiful culture. Mounds, over 10,000 mounds all over. They call them mounds, but they were pyramids. All over North America, which were destroyed. And sacred places buried. And the earth just tills and everything just maimed by those who were seeking wealth and gold. And they subjugated the original people. Who were the original people? Well, we hear about the Aztecs, and we hear about the Mayans, and we hear about the Incas. But do we hear about the Seminoles, the Anahuaya? Do we hear about the Choctaw, or Chata? That's the real name. Do we hear about what they call the Cherokee? Do we hear about the mound builders, the Muskogee? We were also here with advanced cultures here in North America. And we had not destroyed the earth for the thousands of years that we had been here. We lived with nature. We appreciated nature. Nature provided us with everything we needed. We needed nothing. We were not savages. Many of our sacred sites and pyramids and advanced temples and so forth were covered with water. Even in eastern Tennessee now, what they call the Tennessee Valley Authority, covered up so many of the sacred sites of the original Cherokee, not those in Oklahoma that call themselves Cherokee. And of course, they were really known as the Anawaya. We loved the earth. The earth loved us. In the movie Black Panther, the first statement that was made was to throw us off. And it was a straight up lie. The first statement says that everybody thought that El Dorado was in North America, but it was in Africa. False. El Dorado was and still is known in North America. El Dorado, the gold, the gold, the gold. That is what brought the conquistadors over to America, looking for the gold of the Incas, the Aztecs, the Mayans, and that's where they first landed. And no, actually they landed in the islands, Hispaniola, where the Tano, then Arawak, where they were, and they were living peacefully. And in less than 10 years, 10 million of the inhabitants were dead in those islands. Okay, how do you kill that many people? Okay, so that destruction is over. Now we're getting into the real news. Why is the earth changing? Well, we hear the carbon, the holes in the ozone, and all of that, and that's true. Using the carbon-based fuels, which is not necessary, because advanced technology was brought to us by Tesla, and Tesla was killed, and all of his technology hidden by those who call themselves the elite, who kept it to themselves because they wanted to charge us for wires to bring electricity through when electricity is free. And Tesla showed us that. Even Benjamin Franklin, I remember when I was a child, they said that Benjamin Franklin got out with the kite during a storm and was able to channel electricity through a kite. Well, didn't that tell you that electricity is out there and it's free? So why did they put it in wires and give us $200 a month bills? Some people $300, got a great big house. $400. that keeps you a slave. Trying to keep some electricity in your house for something that's free. But I wanted to tell you about the earth changes. What is behind the ultimate thing that is behind the climate change, the oceans rising, the temperature rising, the hole in the earth, the ozone, aside from the carbon emissions from oil and gas and coal. Okay? We are in the throes of a pole shift. Now, I realized one time when I was talking about pole shifts that people didn't really understand what I was saying. And what I'm talking about is that the North Pole, which we all know the North Star now, because we all came up with the story about Harriet Tubman following the North Star to take the people out of slavery and go to the North. She followed the North Star. Okay. So when I speak of the pole shift, what I'm saying is that the North Star is changing. Now, you know that we have the 24-hour cycle, which brings day and night. Then we have the cycle which brings the seasons. That is the moving of the earth on its axis, spinning like a top. You know how when a top spins and it's beginning to slow down a little bit, that it kind of topples like that, you know. So we have that movement which causes the seasons. And so we have the summer solstice when the sun is at its highest point at the 21st of June, and then we have the winter solstice, which is when the sun is at its lowest point, and that's around December the 21st. And of course, we all know about the birth of the sun. We're not talking about an S-O-N. That is a psyop that they put on us. It is the birth of the S-U-N, which the sun, which appears to stand still for about 5 days, and then it rises and starts its journey. Now, the equinox is when the sun is on the equator, and so we have equal day and equal night. And that's March 21st is the spring equinox, and September the 20th is the fall equinox. So that's another motion, okay? Then we have the precession of the equinoxes. So we're moving from the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius. Now, the age of Pisces was about domination, what they call spiritual wickedness in high places. But everything is a duality. It also saw the experience of people going into a higher level of consciousness. But on this earth, which is a prison planet, with the draconians, those entities that arrived here prior to the sinking of Atlantis, the draconian species, the reptilians, they have held sway over this planet since before the sinking of Atlantis. And it was written about by Thoth, or Tahuti, the great god of wisdom, who said that it was the Dracos the draconians, the reptilian species that actually were responsible for bringing down Atlantis. So we're moving from the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius, which is the age of wisdom, the age of the higher knowledge and wisdom of the people, where the people will come out of that mental enslavement, that mental bondage, that energy that actually made us, enslaved us into a religious dogma. I'm not speaking against religion at all. I'm only saying that the age of Pisces was an age of deception. The deception which imprisoned us into a religious dogma. And many will be upset to hear that, but this is the new age of Aquarius, and it is the new age of freedom. And so that also, the precession of the equinoxes, is another movement that is happening on this earth. There is another one, and that is called moving through the Galactic Center. Okay. This particular galaxy of which we are part of is called the Milky Way. And on very clear nights, we can go out. If there's no street lights or anything, we can see that great star stream, it looks like, in the sky, which is called the Milky Way. Okay, the Milky Way itself has a galactic center. Okay. So here you see the whole of the Milky Way, right here. Goes all the way down here. And it actually comes from this galactic center. So this is the birth, this is the womb of the whole of our Milky Way right here. Now, our Earth is passing through this center now, the galactic center, which is in the constellation of Sagittarius. This is where we're passing through right now, which is in the sign of Sagittarius. It's near the sign of Sagittarius. And this is how the galactic center goes. This is the mother, this is the womb of the Milky Way, the galaxy that we're in. Okay? So now Earth is moving through or past this galactic center. And what is happening now is that the photonic light, the photons, the extreme energy that comes through this black hole is actually hitting us right now. And these photons that are coming and hitting our minds and opening up our minds, this is what's happening now. This is what's we are experiencing, another wake-up call for we, the people of Earth, and especially we, the indigenous people, because we're still in touch with it. So many of us, even though we have been like, let's look at the American Aboriginal. I call us American Aboriginal because we are not colored, we are not Negroes, we are not mulattoes, we're certainly not African Americans. Because how can we be that when this North America is our home? We are the descendants of Noah's son, Shem. We are not the descendants of Noah's son, Ham. We were given a very special place, and that was North and South America was given to us, the descendants of Shem. Now, we know that in the Matrix, they keep bombarding us with the lie. Well, it's in their interest. They want the favored land that was given to the descendants of Shem. Remember Japheth, Noah's son, Japheth? He was given the cold lands over there in Europe. Noah's son, Ham, was given the hot lands in Africa. Shem was given the lands that was neither hot or cold, but was just right. And that's us. We, the Aboriginal people of North and South America. So we're open to this energy that is bombarding us from the Galactic Center now. So look, all of these things is having this energy, this energy, this energy. And the Draconians who were in charge of this planet in 2020 in March, in order to stay in power, they shut the planet down. They said there was a coronavirus. Well, there's plenty of coronaviruses. They've been around for the longest time. That ain't nothing new. But because we are susceptible to fear, and they had kept us enslaved through fear for thousands of years. But as far as the sons of Shem in North or South America, 400 or 500 years, they say 400 years, it's 500. Okay? They have kept us in fear, and they scared the hell out of everybody in March last year when they said there was a virus coming. They brought those pictures from China, but see, most people don't know that it wasn't the so-called coronavirus. It was the 5G that they turned on and killed all those people. Hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people died in Wuhan. But the mainstream media told us that it was a virus, and everybody got scared and sat in the house and put masks on their face and all kind of crazy stuff. And this is how they have controlled us, through fear. But what they didn't realize, that some of us were going to, in that quiet that they put upon us, thinking that we would just be fearful, we began to look and see and think and study. And we began to see through the lies and the deceptions, and to read and to listen to the sacred texts, and to listen to those who were giving us the truth from the Bible. And the Bible does contain much truth. But so many of the preachers in our churches, and the churches closed down too, which was good. Because those Masons sitting up there, they're part of the problem. Sorry to say that. I know you love your preacher. They're Masons, Freemasons, Prince Hall Masons that took an oath to white supremacy. In other words, Negro disciples of white supremacy. And they were shut down. Their money was cut off. All them pretty suits as they was wearing and up and on, taking your money. Okay? So we were able to hear the truth. And with the bombardment of all of this photonic light from the Galactic Center, whoop, we woke up. So many of us woke up. And we heard the truth. The truth of who we are. Not the lie that was given to us. And do you know where the real Black Panther came out of? North and South America, Central America. That's where the real Black Panther came out of. You know, so as much as I love that movie, it twisted things around. Okay? All right? Don't forget now, the movie started in Oakland, where the new Black Panther Party, the Black Panther Party started with Huey Newton. And it ended in Oakland. Did we see that? Did you know that there is a Wakanda in Illinois? Wakanda, Illinois. What is it? Teotihuacan? Wakan is a part of many, many names in North and South America, sacred places. So we are so susceptible to lies, especially if they put it in front of us as entertainment. I love the movie.
Which makes me think of the twist and skew. It's like, it's the truth is there.
It's right in front of us.
It's just skewed.
Twist and skew. Absolutely. You know, but I pointed it out to people when I first saw. And as I said, I saw it 4 times, love the movie, I'll watch it again. But you'll have to understand that those who at one point had all the power on earth, and like I told you, they're being displaced as we speak. And the reason why the whole news is being focused on Floyd, whatever his name is, trial right now, is because they don't want you to see what is going on with the elites on earth. They are being rounded up and destroyed. Okay? This is what's really happening behind the curtain. So this is our time. We've got all this energy helping us. And the rise of the Ethiopian king. What does it say? Can you see this down here? Okay, Cephas is the Hebrew name for the constellation of Pikuho. I don't know, I'm not saying it right. I don't speak ancient Egyptian. Pikuho of the Dendera zodiac. I'm sure many of you have already seen the Dendera zodiac, which is the first depiction of the zodiac that we ever saw, and that's in Egypt, okay? What they call Egypt. And the meaning is the crowned and enthroned in the highest heaven. Cephas, the Ethiopian king. You know the Hebrews in Ethiopia? Yeah.
With
It's the original, not only Christian church, but it has carried on the ancient traditions of the Hebrew religion.
Is the ones with the ark.
Yes. So it means the crowned and enthroned in the highest heaven. Cephas is the rising new pole star. Perk Huhor means this one cometh to rule. So with the rising of Cephas, the Ethiopian king, to the new pole star, that will put the indigenous people, the sons of Ham, the sons of Shem, into power again. This is what's happening for us. This is why we have to awaken to all this energy is shaking us and shaking us and shaking us and telling us, look, all you need to do is just know who you are. Understand who you are. Throw all that stuff out that was given to you in those churches and in those synagogues. And those who call themselves Jews but are only the synagogue of Satan. That's in the Bible too. They are not the original Hebrews, and as a matter of fact, they will tell you they're not Hebrews. They're Jews. They adopted the Hebrew religion in the 700s AD. So if there are any other questions, if we don't understand that we got all this energy that is supporting us to rise in consciousness, to take our place, because we are the ruling. We are the people who will rule over this earth and bring it back from its prison planet position. We're moving into the fifth dimension. We're moving out of the third dimension. Those of you who want to stay, you can stay and you will stay, and especially if you take that vaccine. That's what that's about, is to keep you in the third dimension. Keep you a slave. But if we embrace the energies that are bombarding us from every direction right now, if we embrace those energies, we will rise and take our place in the galaxy amongst the stars, because we are stars. We are shining stars. And let us never forget that we, the true lost tribes of Israel, the true people of the Great Spirit, the true people of this planet, we are rising. And I give you greetings and thanks for allowing me to talk. And if there are any questions that anyone has, I'd be very happy to answer them.
Yeah. I know that's a lot.
No. You know, that so-called war on terror in Iraq, that wasn't what it was all about. But they made it up to give an excuse to go into Iraq. And that's because there are several portals there in that area where you can enter into and out of this dimension very, very smoothly without a problem. Also in Afghanistan, there are portals. There's a portal right there. I think it's in Detroit. There's a portal, and there's a building you can go into, and you can actually go to Mars. Now, I know, but it's a fact. And a lot of people will not believe this, but see, maybe it ain't for you. You know, maybe you're not ready to ascend into the fifth dimension. Maybe you want to stay here in the Matrix. You like it. Football is nice. And so, you know, there's one somewhere in Detroit, and it's a downtown building, from what I understand. But a lot of places where we had the mounds that were destroyed, here in North America, there were also portals. You see? On the ley lines. And you know also that, I think it's in September of 2023. I'll have to check to get that exact date. The X will be made over this area in Ohio. X is the spot, I think it's near Hopewell, Ohio, which will, the solar eclipse, there was one in 2017, and then 2023, it will make that X over there. Now, we don't know what that's going to mean, but we know it's very, very important where that X will be marked. And Hopewell, that particular area in Ohio, is where they found an artifact that it was like a little small thing. It was like a little stone artifact, which you could see it was like a tomb, maybe no bigger than this. But it had Hebrew writing on it. And it had a person, or well, the image of a person laid like in a casket inside. And it was ancient Hebrew, what they call Paleo Hebrew. And it's one of many artifacts here in America. And that's the spot where this X is going to be. Sometimes, I think it's September 2023, when the solar eclipse will just make that X right there, you know. And so please remind me to find that date, okay?
Okay, gotcha.
And of course, another revelation, of course, is that there are Hebrew writings all over America. And when the conquistadors came, they brought with them the Sephardic Jews, which were the black Jews of Europe. They came here. In fact, it is believed that Columbus was a Sephardic Jew. You know that they were put out, the Jews, the Sephardic Jews and the Moors, who were black people, or should I say melanated people, living in Europe, okay, from the 700s. In 1492, they were expelled out of Spain and Portugal. And they actually, many of them came over here to the Americas. And so many of the first colonists were melanated people, something they don't want you to know, you know. But they could communicate with the indigenous people here because we spoke Hebrew. Algonquin. Have you heard of Algonquin?
No.
Okay, it is the language that was spoken by the indigenous people from Newfoundland all the way down to Peru. It was like the language of East Africa. What is that language they call it up? That they all speak. Anyway.
Not Swahili.
Swahili.
Okay.
Yes, you see, they all, East Africa, everybody speaks Swahili. I don't care what your other language is.
Swahili.
But Algonquin was like that. That was the language of the indigenous people on the East Coast, all the way from Newfoundland, all the way down to Peru. We spoke Hebrew.
Wow.
You see, or what they call Paleo Hebrew, which is the oldest known Hebrew language. And not to be confused what is spoken over there in Israel. Israel was founded in 1947. You know, I was born before that. So I'm older than that place called Israel, which is supposed to be the Holy Land. Mm-mm. And I really have to thank 3 brothers who have done so much work on that. And I would like to point them out and publicly so that people can go and begin to study what they have done. And that's Brother Uriah Brandon, and his YouTube channel is UB News TV. UB News TV. That's Uriah Brandon. And then a brother named Karimio Ahua, and he is, that's his channel. He's done fantastic work. He's a brother from Costa Rica that was brought up in the hood in Boston, but he's been able to retrieve some of the old books and diaries from even Columbus, a diary that they never wanted us to read because, see, Columbus was coming to the Holy Land. This thing about India did not exist. It was called Hindustan. India is a new name, which was given to them in 1946 by the United Nations. So it was Hindustan.
Wow.
Columbus wasn't coming to no India. No, he was coming to the Holy Land, the land of Shem. The best lands. And so Karimio was Kuremio, Ahua. A-H-U-A. He's got another name, but I can't remember it.
Okay.
You know, but
and then the third one you said?
432 drop. That's his channel. And then Dane Calloway. He gives us all the history of especially the indigenous people of the east coast of America, which are the sons of Shem. Okay, and let me tell you, I had to give it to it. Just like when we were, my age, we were growing up, it was Dr. Clark, Dr. Ben, Dr. Van Sertima, you know, all of those great ones, Chancellor Williams, you know, all of those great historians, but they never mentioned America as our holy land, and I wonder why. They never mentioned that we were here. They put us in Africa, you know, and I don't blame them because I didn't know, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But nevertheless, these brothers have done such tremendous research, and they went back to original texts. They didn't go and read something that somebody in Europe wrote to try to throw you off. Why have they given us the names of Negro, colored, mulatto, nigger, and African American, which is really off base? Why? Because they want this land that belongs to us. This is our land, and we got to get it through our heads and stop this nonsense about back to Africa. I love Africa. I'm one of the few of us who's really lived there. You did too.
Exactly.
And I love Africa.
Mm.
I love Africa. But this is our land here. And we should not just let them lie to us and take it away.
Yes, Shay.
Okay? So we got to wake up. We've got to use these energies that are trying to boost us up. You know?
Align with the Ethiopian king.
There you go.
Stand forth as a king.
There you are. And in fact, you know, I watched this silly movie the night before last, I think it was. Coming to America.
Mm-hmm.
You know, number 2.
Mm-hmm.
Eddie Murphy.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, it was entertaining, you know, and me, I'm too serious. I'm truly too serious. You know, I study too much.
Yeah, you're a scholar, so.
You know, I'm an investigator.
Yeah.
You know, I read serious books and all that. But sometimes, you know, I like to look at some of our silly stuff. I can't stand all the guns and violence, you know, but, you know, I really like some of our comedy. Okay. And so I looked at that. And, you know, I remember he was trying to teach his son how to walk like a king.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what we got to do.
Exactly.
We got to walk like we own this place because we do.
Mm.
And we can't go around with our heads bowed, you know, and no wait for the Lord. No, we can't do that. Okay, is there anything else you want me to cover right now? So just a few days ago, Marco Rubio actually publicly came out and said that there are UFOs, unknown flying objects. They come up with another name for it. I can't remember what the new name is. Mm-hmm. But all over the military bases. They don't know who they are. They don't know where they came from. But they know that they can get here and we can't get there, where it is. So I really don't know who are the good guys. We do know that the mothership is here. And we also know that the mothership came to get her children. Perhaps that is to lift us up until that final shift. Because if you are familiar with the Emerald Tablets of Thought or the Emerald Tablets of Tahuti, you know that they speak of how when Atlantis was sinking, they got into a ship and they were up. In other words, instead of being on a boat like Noah, blah, 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 they got into a spaceship and they watched the Atlantis go down. And after that, they landed over there in Africa, you see. Mm-hmm. But they had left Atlantis and they had left the pyramids over here in the middle, you know, North and South America. And he began to rebuild over there in Africa, according to the information that is in the Emerald Tablets of Thought or the Emerald Tablets of Tahuti. You know, that's Thought's name in Egyptian. It's Tahuti. Yeah, so I don't know.
Okay, gotcha.
But from the information that came from the Cosmic Prophecies of San Francisco, which that's who said they was bringing us the information. It was the Syrians. It was the Anunnaki. Now, some people try to say that the Anunnaki are bad guys. I don't know. But that is the information. We got the information from them. And we weren't sure whether they were Syrians or whether they were Anunnaki. But again, let's focus on this and has any interest.
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay.
Okay. See, these points are the points that came from the Cosmic Prophecies of San Francisco. Okay? 104, 189. You see, 104, 189. 104 points directly to Sirius. You see this bright star? You know, Sirius is our brightest star, aside from Polaris, which is the North Star. Okay, outside of that, Sirius is our brightest star in the sky. Okay, and they call it the dog star. You can see the image of the dog right here. Okay, and this is 104 and this is 189. And this 189 actually points to Virgo, the Virgin, or the Mother, the Great Mother. Okay? So this is how we arrived at this third point. And back in the 60s, you know, this was, you know, this image was always projected, you know, these 3 points. It's the finger of God. That's what we called it then. Or the peace symbol, that's what they called it then. But it's also known as the finger of God. And so that third point goes straight through Cephas, the Ethiopian king. And this is what actually made me curious and began to study who is Cephas and who is the Ethiopian king. Okay? So these numbers were all over the wall in the cosmic prophecies, and we had no idea what's 104, what's a 189. And then one day, you know, I was very much into my yoga at that time. And right at the beach, when we were about to leave, I did one of these numbers and looked back and said, let me go look on my star map. And when I put those numbers in, it just...
The heavens opened up. Yes,
there you go.
It's right
the
there.
heavens opened up.
Wow.
Because then it was all revealed.
Wow.
All revealed.
Powerful.
So, to answer your question about who are the good guys, I don't know.
Exactly. Gotcha.
Because I certainly can't follow what some folks say.
Exactly. There's
I'd be a fool to do that.
a lot of information out there.
Yes.
Gotcha.
But from what was given directly to us through the cosmic prophecies of San Francisco, I would have to say it would have to be the Syrians. It would have to be the Anunnaki.
Gotcha.
But, you know, people will talk about the Anunnaki like they're very, very bad. But then I have a question about the tall whites, who they say are very, very good.
Exactly.
You know.
Exactly.
You know, so, hey,